Well, good morning. Hey, I'm up here at my vetiver swale. I think you can see all the vetiver coming up. Anyway, an event happened at this swale several years ago. This is late July 2025. I don't know if it was like 2018, something like that. But we had a big rain event and this thing filled up and it stayed full for weeks. I had a line of peach trees across here and they just like sat in water. They got a fungus disease. In fact, that's the last tree. I never dug it up. This one here. Anyway, they ended up dying from sitting in the water so long. But one time I came out here and it was the most amazing thing. So the swale was full of water, but here on the berm, water was just leaching out like a seep or a well, just leaching out. But the water level stayed the same. And it's always stayed in the back of the mind, and that's the time I realized where everybody's focused on surface water, what you see on top, there's stuff happening underground. And this was the first lesson I had in that, and it was such a powerful lesson. So, but you could, like I said, it was leaching out here, but you could walk up here and there was no surface flow. So I talk about this a lot, but here in Central Texas and then the hill country, at least on my property, there's a layer of clay underneath. It could be at the surface on a slope. It could be 9 feet down on a level area because topsoil settled on top. But we got this clay. So what happens is a clay, the water, whatever, rain, whatever, or you go back to the hills, we got big hills in the background. Water that hits the top of that hill is gonna go down through the topsoil layer, hit that clay, and then just travel underground all the way to my property. And we've had flows that I've showed y'all that lasted as long as 6 weeks, and in my mind that's how long it takes for the water to hit the top of that hill and make it to my land and then go about its business. But that seepage, like I said, no, it wasn't overflowing. You can see no water flowing in, and it was seeping out the side. And I haven't been able to film it because it hasn't happened again, except I've got another location where I can actually show you what's going on a little bit better. So let me change locations. But before I do, look at that. We got some pears, and then we're at the tail end of the Mustang grape season. I just made YouTube shorts, but I made about 4 gallons of Mustang grape juice, and water bathed it so it's shelf stable in the pantry. So that should give me a little bit of juice to drink. Anyway, let me change locations. We'll discuss this further. Okay, so now we're down at my ephemeral pond, which I think is a fancy name. I always called them pocket ponds. But I've been watching Symbiosis, Texas. I know I'm a small channel, but that's a great channel. Semi in my area. They're still in the Central Texas Hill Country region doing big projects like Zach Weiss would do. Anyway, he refers to these as ephemeral ponds. I think a couple of y'all in the comments has called them that too. So I'll try to change my terminology. But what I want to show you, so we got our flow, bona fide flow. You can see it down here filling up. I made this navigated path for it to flow out, taking it down that way. And you can see the lush green we got down there. But I did a YouTube short about a week ago showing how water is kind of pulling out on this side, and a few people commented that don't fix it, it's good. It's infiltrating water, in more areas on your land. And I appreciate all the comments on it, but we got to go back to the context of what's going on here. One is I've got this gate here, and I need to use that gate, and you can see the mess that it's in. And there's actually another gate right over there. And then you also got to put in context of the geography. So well over a week ago I burned this up, and I already showed the price here. Look at this. Now, just full disclosure, I'm gonna turn around. We got our ephemeral pond, But beyond that, you see nothing. It's all dry. It's all dry. You know, so about where I'm at, maybe right here, is where it starts getting moist. So we got seepage. So this is getting water because of the seepage, and this is visual proof of it. But when I say context, you may go to Arkansas and it's all clay. That's it. Water's going to flow off the surface. You dig a hole, it's going to fill with water, it's going to stay there. Very little is going to soak in the ground because of the clay. In my area, you know, we got topsoil sitting on top of clay, and I think that's what we're showing here. But if I'm going to theorize what's going to happen over time, this is probably 3 feet lower than that. That tells me if this is a source, I mean this seepage could be coming this way, but assuming it's coming from the femoral pond, with that 3 foot difference in elevation, you know, the water's flowing roughly 3 feet underground. That's our water table right now, and it's coming out here on the low spot. So this could probably drop about 3 feet, and we're still going to see that. Once it drops 4 feet, we're probably not going to see that, and that's going to happen over time. You know, because this flow, the longest I've had a flow for is about six weeks. But when you don't see it anymore, that don't mean I can't dig a hole and find that same water a foot down, 2 feet down, 3 feet down, 4 feet down, in direct correlation to what we're seeing over here as far as that dam height. So water's moving, and like I said, most people are looking at the surface only. They're not looking at what's going on underground. That's why Key Dam can actually hydrate and grow grass upstream of the pond, because it's not just a clay-lined pond. That water that you see is not all that you have. That water level keeps going on. Anyway, and then further proof, I'm going to zoom in here, and there we go. I wanted to show that's definitely flowing water. This isn't just stagnant water that's just sitting here. It's moving, it's alive. Keep hitting my head on a tree. So anyway, going back to the swale. So when I was telling Zach, when he was out building my ponds, and I was showing that to Zach, I was telling him that I thought it was a depth gauge, and he didn't understand what I'm talking about. But same as this. So because we had the seepage coming out, that meant water was flowing out of the swale. I mean, we just saw proof of it. But yet the water level's not dropping. So that means water's going out, water's coming in. This one we can see it because we can see the flow. But as it goes down, it'll still maintain its level. The water's just going to be flowing underground instead of on top. So this will be a slow decline down. So as a depth gauge, I use that swale to determine whether I need to go water my trees. I mean, every year I plant between 1 and, let's say, 39, 29 trees in any given year. And with the exception of this summer, because it's wet right now, late July, I would, if I looked in that swale, and if there's any moisture in the bottom, I considered there was moisture 2 feet down across my property. I don't need to go water the trees I just planted. When it was dry, that's when I'm like, okay, that's when I need to start watering the trees. And it was actually a pretty good little thing. And I'm hoping the visuals I'm giving you here kind of help understand why I think that is the case. Anyway, that's kind of my theory on it. Nothing read or scienced or learned anywhere about it. That's just my observation on the land. I'm curious what you think about. Water is doing its own thing underground, whether you see it happening or not. It's happening. Anyway, and having said that, I think I'm gonna call it a day. But let me know what you think. Am I off in stupid land, or does it make sense? Y'all have a great day.